Hello student, as we have already started our history class in the discussion of chapter 1, the topic the French Revolution. In the last class, we have discussed regarding the French society in the late 18th century, where we have seen the French society was having a state system, and that state system was also divided into three parts: first state, second state, and the third state. First state include clergy, second state nobility, and the third state also divided into three parts: merchant, big businessman, teacher, lawyer, doctor. Second comes peasant and artisan. Third one, labor, workers, and servant. The first and second state were enjoying certain privileges by birth. What was the privileges? The privileges was that they were exempted from paying any taxes, whereas the third state was having the burden to pay the taxes, as the whole and sole responsibility of paying the taxes goes to the third state. So in our today class, we will discuss what taxes the third state were paying and what the people were doing struggle, how they were struggling to survive, and they also been emerged of a new social group also emerged during the late 18th century. What was that social group? And apart from that, they were also been inspired by the idea of the philosopher. That who are the philosopher, what idea they have given, we will discuss in our today class. So now let us start the types of taxes with the third state for paying the tax. First one, feudal tax, second tally tax, and thetis tax. These were the tax which the third state were paying. The tax that was paid to the noble and clergy, that was the feudal tax, and the tax that was paid directly to the government, that was called tally tax. Apart from the direct tax, they were also collecting the indirect tax on salt and tobacco. Now, next one, the thetis tax, the tax that was paid to the church. So that was the called thetis tax. Now, third state were not having their own land and their population was 90%, whereas 60% of the land was being owned by the clergy and nobility. Whereas in the third state, the peasant and workers, they were there who were illiterate and they could not raise their voice for their rights. Whereas in the third state only, there were some educated people like big businessman, merchant, lawyer, teachers, doctor, who were gaining power and they tried to raise their voice for their rights. So now, as the third state were not having their own land, how is it possible for them to pay the taxes? As people started thinking that they were being asked to pay the tax again and again. From where they will pay the taxes? They were not having their own land, and they were being asked to pay the tax again and again, as because the burden of financial activities of the state was through the tax which the state used to collect from the third state alone. Means that state used to run on the basis of the tax they used to collect from the third state. So due to this has led to a revolutionary feeling in the people, and this revolution feeling was so strong that it has led to the inspired the Indian scholar like Raja Rahman Rai during his journey, and he has been inspired on seeing the warship and the tricolor flag of France. So this kind of inspiration other nation was also drawing from French Revolution. So has been seen other nation was also drawing. So the people of the France has to struggle to survive, as because why they have to struggle to survive, as because during that time population was increasing. In 1715 there was 23 millions, in 1789 there were 28 millions. So you can see the increase in population. So there was a huge increase in population which has added 5 millions of people. You can see out of 5 millions of people had been added, that is 1715 to 1789, and this has led to the scarcity of food grain, and there was bad harvest also led to the scarcity of food grain reason, and other one was artificial price. So as the population was increasing, the productivity of food grain could not increase and they could not meet the need of the people. Suddenly the scarcity of the food began due to bad harvest, which accumulated the problem of food, and bakers are started to exploit the common man, as prices was hoarded or increased artificially. Why? these prices were hoarded or increased artificially, as they were keeping the stock with them and not letting out in the market. That means in the market, whatever stock were there, that used to be finished, and when the stock used to be finished, they used to release from their own stock. That stock price they used to increase a high rate price. They used to sell that product in high rate price. So the price of bread, which was staple diet of the majority, rose rapidly. Now the stable diet price has rose rapidly, but most workers who were engaged or who has been employed as labor in workshop, their wage was already been fixed by the owner. So as the rise of the price of bread was increased, their wage did not increase. So it became difficult for the people to buy the bread for their survival. So the richer has become more richer and poor become more poorer. This has led widened the gap between rich and poor people. So this has led to a subsistence crisis that occurred in France during old regime. An extreme situation. When the subsistence crisis occurred, it had led to an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are in danger. That is, the basic needs, that is food, shelters, that the basic needs of the people came in danger. In the past, we have already seen that the peasant and workers had participated in revolt against the increasing of taxes and food scarcity. But they did not have any means and programs so that they could change the social and economic orders of the society during that time period. So this responsibility has been taken within the Thursday, means within the Thursday, some member were there who were educated. They have taken this responsibility and they have access to education and spread the new idea. So in the 18th century, we have seen there was emergence of new social group, that was the middle class, and this social group used to earn their wealth through expanding overseas trade and from manufacturing of woolen and silk textile that was being exported either or brought by the rich society. So beside merchant and manufacturer, they also include lawyer, doctors, officer. And as this group, middle class group, were educated people were there, they used to believe in that the society should not have any special right by birth. Apart from that, they used to believe that person position in the society, that means a person should gain its social position in the society by its merits or by its work, not by this birth. So this idea was also being put forwarded by some philosopher. So the philosopher has also supported this idea of the middle class. So the philosopher, they were the John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau and Montesquieu. John Locke, he has written the book Two Treatises of Government. His Jean-Jacques Rousseau book was Social Contact. Montesquieu was the Spirit of Law. Now, John Locke, who wrote the book Two Treatises of Government, he has completely revolted against the divine right of the monarch. The idea was that no privileges should be given by birth, but it should be given by work, that is depend upon the merits, privileges should be given. So other one was a Rousseau, who had given the idea to form government that should be based on social contract, that is between the people and their representative. In the Spirit of Law, which is written by Montesquieu, he has given an advice that was based on the division of power within the government, that is between legislative, there should be division of power between three parts, that is legislative, executive and judiciary. Why? As because the power must be, why this idea was been given? Because the power must be equally divided between them, so that between them means this should be divided equally between the government, so that there will be a balance and the country will run peacefully. So this model of government was used and enforced in United States of America after 13 colonies declared their independence from Britain. So this idea of the philosopher were discussed in different places such as in saloon, coffee house, and also spread among people through books and newspaper. So the books and newspaper were often read aloud in group, as because most of the people were illiterate, they were unable to read. So the people who was capable to read the books or newspaper, they used to read aloud, so that the illiterate people also could listen it and take the benefit of this idea. So the intention was that the all the people should be influenced by this idea. Now what we have seen, you can see that Louis XVI during that time period again planned to impose the taxes further, and he also tried to increase the taxes upon the third state. So when he planned to impose the taxes upon the third state, this was not liked by the people of the third state. They rose to anger, and they started to revolt against the system of privileges that the first and second state were enjoying. So this, the Louis XVI idea to increase the taxes had made the people of third state to revolt against him, and this has led to the outbreak of the revolution in France, so which we will discuss in next class, that is revolt, the outbreak of the revolution. Thank you.